So we got a question from our buddy Curtis about dropping the ball. Basically performing under pressure. He plays tight end in football, and he is afraid that he's going to literally drop the ball because he had a bad experience with dropping the ball in practice a couple weeks ago, whatever the case may be. And now he can't get out of his head this fear, the feeling associated with failure and losing, and everybody coming down hard on him if he drops the ball. Right? So he is really tense, and his coaches now are noticing this. They're like, dude, you're really freaking tense. Chill out, right? And it's difficult for him too because he's replaying this mental movie of dropping the ball, and guess what? It's a spiral downward, and I think you experienced that. I made a video earlier this week. It may have been uploaded already, or it may be on its way, about this dude's girlfriend's orgasm face. And it's about visualization. It's about mental movies that have a physiological response on your body. You will actually reproduce physiologically the movie in your mind. They've done studies on like Olympic athletes where if they put like little, I don't know, like brain measure things on them and ask them to run a sprint, or to, I think they used to do this with, or they've done this with Michael Phelps, to actually go through the actual event in their mind, that all of the same neurotransmitters and all the physiological responses, hormones and everything that are associated with the actual event happen in their body. There is a very close tie. It's almost like identical to what's happening in their body when they visualize it to when they're actually doing the event. So that can support you or it can hurt you. If you're visualizing failure, you're preparing your body, your nervous system, to fail, because you're ingraining the pattern of failure. Your brain is is almost like a machine where there are patterns, and as you reproduce patterns, the patterns get easier and easier and easier and easier and easier to go. You call those motor engrams. Well, engrams, but motor engrams when it's associated with the body movement, you know? So as you further ingrain or further facilitate motor engrams that are faulty, that don't support you because you're thinking about them, you are then going to find it being reproduced in reality, in life. Olympic athletes who visualize themselves winning races win races. People who visualize dropping the ball will drop the ball. So you literally have to replay that movie in your head. You literally have to just get rid of, wash out that movie of you dropping the ball and replay over and over and over and over in your mind, you grabbing the winning touchdown. You have to do this. And I can tell you from my experience that this is the way it is. I look back in retrospect, right? I look back at my life, and everything that I've gotten, I've seen in my head before I got it. Like, for example, just one small example. When I first moved to St. Petersburg, you know, I was living pretty poor. I've spoken about this before, but one of my clients drove me through this neighborhood, and he said, "Hey, this is Old Northeast St. Petersburg." And I drove with him on that day, and I looked around and I was like, I want to live here someday. Now, mind you, I didn't even have a business at that time. I was still a personal trainer. I was flat broke. My wife was living at my parents' home with my daughter, right? And I'm driving through this neighborhood and I'm like, I want to live here. I love this neighborhood. I just like the way the houses looked and the trees. It was just so freaking awesome. So several times a week before I would drive, 40 minutes back to my home, where I was living with my parents, I'm telling you, things were bad. I drive through that old neighborhood and I would visualize. I didn't know what I was doing at the time until later on someone taught me these techniques. They said, this is called visualization. And I'm like, I do that all the time. I would drive through that neighborhood and sometimes I'd sit in front of a house and I'd imagine this is my house and I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna walk up to it and I'm going to live here someday. Well, someday is today. I've been living in this neighborhood for about 4 years now, right? When I played football, I was always playing defense. They always made me play defense for some strange reason, even though I'm built like a running back, and I knew I was running back. So I remember carrying the ball in my bedroom and jumping on the bed like I was scoring touchdowns. And I did that all through high school. There was no chance that anyone was ever gonna make me a running back. I was even recruited as a defensive player. In college, it was just like, it's never gonna happen. But still, even when I was in college, I'd hold the ball like I'm running back and dive on the bed. I don't know, fucking, I should do that again now. It used to be fun. And magically, by the time I was a junior, I was a running back. By a fluke. All the guys on the team injured themselves, they made me a running back. So many different parts of my life look exactly the way they did in the mental movie I created first. Okay? You're going to drop the ball if you play a mental movie of dropping the ball over and over and over again. That's why you're tense and your coaches are telling you chill out. You've got to replay a resourceful movie in your head so that you get a resourceful result. Good luck.